everybody, because, Georgia, I think something's wrong with the standings, because I've been looking at them and they seem really off.
Hold on. It's going to be GTZ versus Wildcats.
Yeah.
We thought by this time would be like, you know what, GTZ have tried their best. They're 0-2 down. They have to play their last game versus the former champions of EMEA Masters. What the hell? They're fighting for first with the former EMEA Masters champions. And not only are they fighting for first, the 2 wins that they got, there were no flukes. They played solid. Their team fighting was so good. Their plan was solid start to finish. They never deviated. They were on a leash. And if there is one team to beat when it comes to team fighting, this is Wildcats. This is why this particular game is so exciting. Because the previous one we saw with Wildcats, they were pretty reserved as well until they started like the later on team fighting. So I can't wait to see who's going to come up on top in this one because they play very similar game styles.
I think I've also got to give credit over to GTZ, who've very, very good at making some of those picks happen. But before we get to that, of course, maybe talk about Wildcats, because Kofta in this first game maybe was a bit bored to pick in the second game, but that Jace was foul.
I think that game was what got him bored, honestly, initially, because you had to play his undefeated Jace again. But all jokes aside, this guy's incredibly skilled when it comes to playing those AD mid laners, such as the Tristanas we see right here, the Jace. I think what is very impressive about Wildcats is the way that they always collapse onto these fights, especially when it comes around the jungler Ferret, the veteran who came back, who's been playing for them since 2019 and just rejoined the roster for this EMEA Masters, and of course the TCL summer as well, where they won. And honestly, he's been looking fantastic on his engages, his disengages, the way he will hover around that bot and the way he will set up fights for them, the way he'll protect them. Ferret is a true leader for Wildcats. On the other hand side, for Bisons, we see them right here versus GTZ. They had a pretty good early game. They just kept overextending and losing the further on skirmishes.
They did, and honestly, it was credit to GTZ for really good decision making in the mid game to make these picks happen.
Oh my god.
This one was phenomenal. You actually saw Bisons sitting in that bush in that last game trying to replicate it because clearly they were traumatized.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that GTZ, it wasn't just a one-off. They're doing it again against the Ultra Legal's #1 seed. I think Avra specifically on the Zeri has looked absolutely phenomenal. And when it comes to Wildcats, also having someone like Bao who can pilot the Zeri so well, it will be an absolute brawl in the bot lane on which one of these 2 guys can get this hyper carry on their hands. Of course, we've seen Bao on different picks, and Avra has only gone onto this Zeri. So I would love to see whether Wildcats choose to just completely take it off the board instantly.
I mean, that's exactly what I was going to ask. So I was saying, I wonder how good this team looks when they don't have that kind of super safe, super mobile AD carry in the Zeri. Of course, there are other options available, things like the Desires, the Kai'Sas out there, which are obviously very strong AD carries. But do you look the same on a different champion? And that will be a question to mount and ask. Whereas we do know for a fact that the Wildcats are a pretty flexible team. It'll be interesting to see how that all goes out, especially considering we have seen a lot of Zeri into Xayah, which has been Bao's kind of most famous champion, and most comfortable champion as well, is probably the way I want to phrase that. And I will be interested to see if we get that kind of matchup or whether it's kind of denied as we head on into Champ Select in a couple seconds or so.
Yeah, and honestly, I would love to see the matchup for the bot lane in general, including the supports. Paris was undeniably, in my opinion, I'm going to give him the award myself, okay? I'm taking this on me. He was undeniably the best support at EMEA Masters Spring 2023. His versatility, the way he was setting up for the map, the way he was setting up engages, the way he was setting up his carry and his jungler for success the entire time. If Paros was having a good game, the entire team was having a great game. But on the other hand side, Nightmares has been playing in the ERL since 2016. At this point, he's a veteran in the scene and he's got a lot of experience to share with Avra on that bot lane. That's why I think that bot lane matchup overall is going to be so important for how the game is going to play out.
Destroy was getting Rumble banned back in spring, and now Rumble's actually a really scary champion, so it is a perma. I'm not surprised at that. There's the Gwen as well, and I wonder Well, the options here are going to be from Wildcats. I'm kind of there with you. I'd like to see a Zeri ban from Wildcats. I think that feels like a potentially sensible one. But the Maokai, they don't want to give over to Time, who, of course, has been having a very good day.
If I may, there might also be an Aatrox ban somewhere in there. We might have the 3 out of 3 in the top lane.
Also true.
Because Aatrox was one of the most banned top laners by GTZ in their playoffs. It's going to be indeed the Zaya. We could be looking potentially for something like a Rel that hasn't necessarily been left open in the couple of last games. And there's only one ban right here for Wildcats.
Just need to see what they want to do with it. There's a couple of options available. They can go towards some of the safer options for CPM if they've still got an angle for Destroy. I mean, something like a Fiora is still available. The Jax is still up if they're feeling like that kind of thing. That might force Koff to something a bit more AP style, and he's not been as comfortable doing that. And there it is. There's the Sion ban. Just some of these ones that are just like tanky team fighting options. Of course, CPM did have a great game on the Sion. First pick, Syndra for Heroic, who did show up really well on that into the Tristana. Maybe that's the angle.
I just want to say historically talking about today, because that history,
okay, so yeah, a lot of history.
It happened already, a lot of history.
It's true, yeah, that's fair.
They literally picked Syndra into Zeri into Sion. These were the drafts back to back when they played against Orbit and when they played against Bisons today. Of course, the Sion is no longer in the cards, but with the Kai'Sa locked in for the side of Wildcats, you very well could easily pick up that Zeri from the side of GTZ, since it's such a pivotal key point to your success in general as a team, having Avra on his champion.
Dude, it is. I mean, for the Wildcats, though, they've got, of course, Kai'Sa, which is strictly a flex, even if it has become increasingly more of a bot lane option. But the Rel is as well. And Rel sets up for Kai'Sa oh so well, because wherever she ults, you just ult to follow, and you do a lot of work with that. There's the Zeri, there's the lock. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody who's been watching Avra today. Question is, what are they going to lock alongside that? I wonder whether maybe a jungler or support might be the port of call here.
Okay, I have a question for you. What is his all-time win rate on Zeri?
You said it last time, so I'm going to say 88%.
It's 68%. Very close. Very close. Okay. I gave it to you. 25 games, 68%.
You were nicer than I was, in fairness.
68% win rate on 25 games. That's pretty high. Loving the Poppy as well here as well. Can stop a lot of the engages. Oh, well. You know what? The coach said, I don't care if you're bored. Play the damn champ. You're too good at it.
Yeah, and again, like Jace with setup with the Rel, you've got the Kai'Sa to be the other artillery piece. This is such a long-range comp. You have to be really on it now as GTZ to make these engages stick. Yes, you got a bit of pick between the Syndra and the Poppy, but if you sit there and just take artillery shell after artillery shell, it's gonna hurt.
And honestly, we're looking at the Rel right here. This could also be a flex and go down to Paris. He's pretty good at the Gage type of champions. If you get a short-range melee champion in the bot lane for Nightmares, you could potentially flex that Rel towards the top side of the map and get a better matchup in the jungle, or even better, maybe something like a Setsuwani that pairs up so well with Jace. And we also know Destroy to play a lot of melee champions as well in the top lane, so you could pair it up like this and play again through the top side of the map.
Yeah, that's certainly an option, and you can see why that might be a kind of potential, especially if you've already got your kind of safe artillery piece. Having to Destroy on something that can push away, be a threat, that could be a pretty good deal.
Kin from the LCK has terrorized the world by picking Ryze. Now everyone's going to be banning Ryze from now on.
I mean, it's two big AP consistent damage dealers that you just don't want to be dealing with right now. They'll lock in a Trundle, which of course is another potentially interesting option to deal with a Poppy who dives on in, loses all her stats, and has a very bad time. You can, of course, end up with your pillar being a tool for Poppy to use against you, but we'll wait and see. With well locked in. It's still strictly a flex, I suppose. It could be support Trundle, though I suspect it's more likely to be the support Rel. And now, why is GTZ thinking going towards the top side? So many of those tanks have been banned away. Are they just going to go towards the Malphite?
If my true stats... if my stats are true, rather, my god.
Okay.
I forgot to English currently. Malphite's going top and Poppy... Malphite's going top, and this Poppy is gonna go into the jungle because CPM does have 2 games of Malphite already. Now, of course, this can become a little bit dodgy because the Trundle being locked in right here. He does have 2 or 3 even targets to pop his ultimate on. Whoever dives in, whoever's in the front line melts. Kai'Sa, Jace, so much damage right here. And Destroy, yeah, okay, you can flicker through Vayne, but we all know what you're gonna lock
I was like,
in.
go on, you're into a Malphite and a Braum. You could definitely chunk them out.
Nice try.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd be pretty miserable into the Poppy Braum. You get tagged by like a Winter's Bite or the W comes down, you can't tumble. It's just not fun. So I see why that's not locked in, but Wildcats, they've got themselves a winning matchup in the top lane. They've got themselves a decent setup for the artillery pieces. GTZ, big beefy front line to try and keep that Zeri and Syndra alive.
You know what I really love right here is the fact that Braum is so good against this comp. First of all, there's a bunch of poke coming through with the Jace and the Kai'Sa, but there's also 3 melee champions that are going to be fighting in your face from Wildcats. So you pop your passive onto these champions, and then Syndra and Zeri will take care of that to make it either stun, to then forward distance themselves from the fight. I feel like, again, Wildcats have put themselves in a position where they're gonna have to try the extra mile to get on top of the champions from the side of GTZ, but they do have a lot of poke, which means if the poke lands, you don't necessarily have to find the backline, because the backline will gonna have to press B to go to base instead of dying.
Yeah, and if Kofta and Bao aren't being able to hit as much poke as they would like because they're hitting pretty heavy frontline, that could maybe make their comp a little harder to pull off. Of course, it does involve getting tanky enough to deal with it, and when you've got Jace and Aatrox with a Trundle there to back them up, you feel like those lanes in particular could be pretty good at getting some pride. Of course, you know, this is heroic Syndra, who's very competent on the champion. It was a decent attempt at a little level 1 here from GTZ as they gather up in this bush. Now, will Wildcats face check? Bao's going to spot it and back away. Nightmare's going to go in and potentially put down a ward.
There you go. As you mentioned, going to be put down on the bot quadrant of FLICKR's jungle. He's currently sitting towards that top side. Kofta is going to do the same exact thing. Time is going to spot it, and he does have the sweeper as well. So that piece of vision...
That's game over. He's like infinitely more CS now on Avra.
Okay, I thought for a second you were being serious.
Oh, yeah. Genuinely? Georgie, this is me. like, come on now.
I was like, wait, he actually knows a secret tech that I don't.
Oh, yeah. It's called last hitting. It's incredible. Have you tried it?
All right. So we're going to have the challengers.
just refuse to engage with us.
Man, I honestly love to hate you. I'm just going to say.
Oh, dear.
Okay,
well,
you know what?
We're a minute and a half of the game and it's already gone.
I'm gonna let you pull us back into this one. Could you do
that's complete. Yeah, that's fair. It's my Ice took us away. It's my job to sort it out. I think both junglers gonna be heading in opposite directions. In of course, Trundle starting on his red buff and heading on down towards the bot lane, which I don't think is entirely a surprise. Interestingly though, with the Poppy maybe heading up towards that top side, I wonder whether maybe an attempt through mid lane on the way past might be an idea, especially with Kofta shoved up nice and early.
Honestly, I think it was a pretty good idea in general to start towards the bot side for time, because taking that one ward, you know there is absolutely no vision towards that bot side quadrant of your jungle. By the time you're going to be towards that top side, the ward from Destroy would have dissipated anyway, so they will not know wherever you are. Time, as you mentioned, is going to take a trip towards that mid lane. He's going to sweep the area, knows there are no wards down, and Kofta, his lane is actually at a pretty good spot, but the second he overextends to get that one...
Oh boy, it does take a lot of damage. It's a good hammer blow to knock him away though, and we'll stay safe for now.
That means you're not allowed to go anywhere near. Now, one thing about Jace, he is very powerful, but he has to burn a lot of mana to push down that wave. And the second he goes melee form into Syndra, Syndra is pretty good at trading with you. So right now, that's a pretty good shove from Heroic. He's going to shove in that wave, force the TP from Kofta right there, and all that was generated by Time's gank in the mid lane. Taking that first ward. Oh, level 2 versus level 3.
Did he go for the early trade? Ooh.
Bao and Paris felt prey to that level 2 versus level 3 in the first game of the day. This time, they're going to be having the advantage in levels here. That's why they initiated that one. It's not going to be too much. They're building up a wave. They're going to shove it towards the bot side of the map. Talking about bot side of the map, Ferret is going to be around. Going to take that Scuttle Crab. Let's see if maybe that wave being built up on the bot side of the map could possibly result in something like a dive from Ferret.
Yeah, definitely a consideration. I'm not sure whether they're going to quite look for it. Instead, I think you can see the pings looking towards the respawn. The Raptors, of course, was spotted out, I believe, by sort of the early wall when it was cleared out. They had an idea as where it happened, and yeah, there will be the wall down to spot him coming on in. The frozen domain should be able to get this. I think he missed an auto there. Could get it stolen. No, not going to be quite time this time. Perhaps a little ironic considering his name. We'll get a shock blow to make that one happen. There's the pillar coming down. Flash for the start of the wall. Into the scout of the week. Ferret flashing forward himself. Gets another frozen domain down. Now Cops is coming on. And GTZ have gone too far. But wait, Nightmares is here. Now the turnaround comes the other way as Cops has been exhausted. Flashes away from the Winter's Bite, but there's a slowdown from the W from Syndra. Another charge. Knocks Ferret into the wall, but still staying alive. The Chops are going to go through. And Bow is here as well. And Cops gets first blood. What is going on? Mind of the pillar comes down, but time just about gets away from it. But a crash down brings Nightmares down. He's having his namesake right now.
How are they keep getting away with this? How are they keep getting away with this?
I don't know.
Ferret gets caught. 1v2. Kofta misses his chance to stop Heroic from entering this fight. He's a flash down. He's a teleport down. Time is looking again.
Oh, he's going to try again. But Paris is here again. Time has tried so many times. He got 2 charges into the wall of Ferret, and he did not die. Absolute scenes in by the Raptors. That is the most combat I've seen by the Raptor pit in a little while.
You could say the Raptors have seen some in this particular one.
Some sheep. They've seen some sheep. They've seen other animals on the rift.
But at the end of the day, there was a huge wave after all these skirmishes happened that crashed into the mid lane that Heroic did not end up taking the entirety of it. Had to TP itself as well. So all in all, when it comes to TPs, we're down to them even in the mid lane. Again, you see, Time finds Ferret taking his Raptors, and he will flash him onto the wall. Heroic with a very lovely scout of the week, but the flash forward from Ferret onto Heroic, and then Kofte also getting onto that Syndra. Of course, the bot lane from the side of GTZ are the first ones to get the same bot lane. It's just the Braum. Zeri's a little bit too late, which makes this a 3 versus 4 in favor of Wildcats, and they're gonna get 2 in favor of them. As you'll see right here, the Syndra dies in the very early stage of this skirmish, and it's gonna lose about 2 creeps right there, but gonna TP back. We're back, baby.
Shattering Strike forces a cleanse, and there's the flash out as well. I apologize, it's just the heal, but either way, it's going to be knocked away. Nightmare's desperately low, and the Acathian rain is acidic enough to melt the Freljordian man. Time goes to find and engage onto Kofta, who's taken low. First fire, not quite enough to bring him down. It's just another kill to the TCL representatives.
Yeah, and slowly but surely, if you look across the board, if you look on the scoreboard, right in the middle, you see where most of the gold leads lie. It is going to be on Bao, one way or another. He's inevitable. He will get his kills. He'll find his kills on the map. But again, one of the big props that I will always be giving to Wildcats is the way that they always play around Ferret. They always play around their jungler. Bao and Powers are more than happy to drop a wave if that means they're gonna get control of the river and also kills in the current skirmish. It's happened in their previous game. It's happening right now. Ferret with 100% kill participation, same as Bao and Powers.
Exactly that, and it was something you called out in the replay as well. Like, Alvaro wasn't there. He turned up right at the end in the Raptor pit. He's not even doing anything. He's just over the wall there. And all the while, Bao was getting involved, got 2 kills, and that made a huge difference for all that you saw. A lot of good CC trading from GTZ. They were, in the end, kind of just outmatched in the rotation slightly, and it has been some good punches from both sides, but unfortunately for them, it has been TCL that have been landing them that touch harder. And they're the ones with 3 kills. They're the ones with over 1,000 goal lead. At least GTZ do at least pick up this early dragon, and it's not like the game's out of reach yet. It just feels like Wildcats have been the ones that have been just slightly ahead of the plays.
Yeah, and I would expect with the dragon to go down, Paris is going to be roaming towards the top side of the map, which means they might be looking for something like the Rift Herald. Wildcats are very known for handshaking Rift Herald to their advantage over a dragon, because they usually tend to put the Rift Herald in the bot lane towards Bao, getting some more turret platings for him. Again, a fed Bao is a happy Wildcats, because he gets to carry these team fights with the extra gold that he gets. And as we just mentioned, 4 members of Wildcats on the top side of the map. It is going to be 4 from GTZ as well.
Stroy just makes sure this Malphite can get absolutely nowhere near this fight. It's good gatekeeping, but now the fight by the Herald happens as Time just goes in and steals it away. Ferret wasn't there. Ferret was by the red buff.
He
got knocked away.
He just flew. Yes, he just
I was
flew
looking at the
around.
Malphite and I just missed him knocking off the top of my screen. I was like, why wasn't he there? Why was he by the red buff? It's like he got knocked out. That makes so much more sense, but well played by GTZ. They managed to force their way in with there, even without the Malphite, and just a good ult from the Poppy. And the keeper's verdict says, well, we're getting the Herald.
Again, these teams are so similar in the way they play the game. Because whilst Destroy was keeping CPM out, of course, having the Malphite ult in such a tight place as the River can be very dangerous for these skirmishes and these fights. Oh, Nightmares.
Yeah.
Not phased. He does have Heroic in the mid lane, and Kofte is back in. But again, I feel like the way they both collapse around their junglers and the way they're trying to help them create these fights around the junglers is just stellar and very similar. Talking about the junglers, Time has been playing in Ferret's face the entire game, and of course having the bot lane prior currently with the bot lane being pushed kind of allows you to play like this. But it's just incredible how similar their playstyle is.
It is, and I was about to call out as well that kind of similarity in terms of the pressure style of their mid laners in some ways as well, where Heroic has actually managed to recover from that early deficit really well. Was actually up a level and a half. Was a level for briefly. It was a level 8 to a level 6 Jace in the mid lane. You're going nicely recovered, especially against such an iconic champion as Kofte. Of course, Heroic now has finally had the back, so plate will go over to Kofte, and that'll help bring things back up again. But credit where it's due is Time with the Herald in inventory throws down a warp, will have Shock Blast the face for his penance for that.
And I feel like Nightmares has constantly been mirroring powers, but Nightmares has not necessarily been in lane long enough to get that level 6 onto the Braum. Powers has been a level up the entire time whilst also roaming the map. So there is an advantage at least there on the support. You've got that level 6 onto the role. You can try to potentially use it. Now, of course, both teams are on scouting mode. Not both teams, sorry. Wildcats are on scouting mode on Time because he does have the Herald in his pocket and they have to wait and see where he's most likely going to use it. Top lane is of course going to be most likely out of the question. You never want to be putting down a Rift Herald to give more gold onto a Malphite. So I'm assuming it's going to be either mid lane to try and open up the mid completely and open up the map for yourself. Oh, they're pulling TP's bot lane. It's the Syndra.
They are indeed. The Ghost is popped. Heroic's coming on down, looking for the stun. The crash down goes wide. Still has an ult to work with. The flash out for Bao now as well. The Paris will throw down the Magna Storm. Is tagged by the Wind Spike, but does flash out and stays alive. That is nearly every summoner blown, though, by the Wildcats bot lane.
That was a weird TP, I want to say. Sure, Heroic doesn't necessarily lose much because Time is going to be around mid lane, but Kofte is going to have to try and stop him right here. He will find him, but Time is coming from the other side from mid lane. Ow. And Kofte is on low HP.
There's so many people on low HP. There's a Shattering Strike in the pillar that comes down, giving Nightmares the wrong point. As now Kofte gets knocked up by the Keeper's Verdict, and he is taken down. The verdict this time is death. Teleport coming on through. It's the second one. This one's the Malphite. There's no flashes. Unstoppable force, breakable object. Bao is consumed, and a triple kill. Of course it's a triple kill to Avra.
Avra on his infamous Zeri, he gets it back to back to back to take 3 games straight. He's gonna be fed the turret platings. He's gonna be fed 3 kills. 1.7k up. We said that this bot lane matchup was gonna be so crucial for how this game ends up going. And GTZ, what am I even saying? They're ahead over Wildcats. Kofte, you have no business being there. The bot lane is not playing around Kofte at all. They're chasing Nightmares on the bot side of the map. Time and Heroic will dispatch of Wildcats mid laner first. And then while Wildcats are trying to run away, the second TP's coming in and boom! 3 people up in the air, 3 people dead, 3 kills in Avra's pocket, another 3 turret platings, 2,000 gold up for the Portuguese AD carry.
What a moment for the Portuguese representative. What a moment for GTZ. This team that is the first team since 2019, the second year the tournament was damn well running, the second time since then to have managed to make it to the group stage, and they might well be looking, possibly, if they can keep this going, at a 3-0 first day. What an extraordinary moment that would be, but Nightmares getting caught out might be making me eat my words, and I do apologize. I think that counts as a cast a curse.
Also apologize on my side. Avra, German AD carry, no Portuguese, of course, Portuguese org.
Portuguese
is
representative, yes.
There you go, Portuguese representative. They're gonna try to dive towards the top side of the map. It's time for Wildcats to pull down their teleports to try and
Ult in
dive
3
up and get that
seconds.
shutdown.
Oh, he's dead. He's dead. There's no way out, and they are managing to bite back. This time, they're the ones with the overload, and they're the ones who pick up the kills. They get the shutdown down as well. Destroy gets stunned up. Nothing more to be found, and that is a nice counter punch and brings our goal pretty much back to even again. These teams have not been willing to give an inch either way.
Again, so similar. GTZ pulling the TPs down bot lane. For what? For their AD carry. They gave him a triple kill. What does Wildcats do? They play towards the tower that has more tower platings, so there's a top side of the map to feed kills and tower platings into Bao. It's honestly the exact... It's like seeing two teams playing literally their mirror on the map. Again, you'll see Destroy pulling the TP towards the top side. It's, of course, a 2v4, and Avra does not have summoners from the previous fight. I don't think I even got to finish my sentence right there, and he was already dead.
No,
2 kills going down, but very crucially, the shutdown went towards Bao. He's the one that needs it the most. He's the only AP in the team currently. This is going to be a full AP Kai'Sa build. The Static Shiv into the Ludens, into the Nashers as well. So they really rely on getting that Kai'Sa ahead for that AP damage factor.
There's the ult on the top side. It means the Scout of the Week actually goes wide. So that's not the increased stun, but it's just the Winter's play afterwards. It does so much work. And now Destroy needs to run away. That Dragon is taken on the other side, but I think it will be Destroy's life in trade. And alongside that Herald, I think that top lane turret might be the sacrifice.
I think that was a little bit disrespectful right there from Destroy. You know that your jungler towards the bot side of the map. You don't necessarily see many people. Either you can't be overextending towards the wave. Gonna lose a tower in the top lane. Yes, you're gonna get one in the bot as well, but at this point, if Wildcats do not go topside to defend, they might actually lose 2. And as you can see, Afra is defending mid lane for GTZ, CPM is defending bot lane for GTZ, but that top lane might end up losing a second tower.
It's gonna at least be the wrong end of a second charge, and that turret will be left with about 1/3 of his HP. I don't think they quite had the damage to go through anymore, and they decide against shoving too aggressively there. Ferret, though, will take the opportunity to clear up an entire quadrant on the bot side, every jungler's dream. Maybe Nightmares might come over and contest this, but I don't think a Braum is going to beat out against a Trundle at this point. Still away a small chicken, at least.
The next Dragon is going to be 4 minutes away. The teams currently are just playing with waves. They need to get their assignments straight. There are no towers in bot lane or top lane for the side of Wildcats, and you have quite an immobile champion, if you will, in the likes of Jace. If he overextends to pressure a wave, the Poppy could be there. The TPs could be dropping on him to get him down. Destroy is going to get yet another tower towards the top side of the map. I wanted to make a Destroy pan, but I will not. I'll keep this one.
Okay, are you sure?
I'll give this one for you, man.
Okay, I'm fine. Oh, thank you. That's really kind of you.
I'm sure you have one. I'm sure you have one.
I've got so many. I have puns for like pretty much everything. But I'm also looking at this one going, that's the Infinity Edge on the Zeri. It's not a Navori or anything like that as Kofta gets the Thundering Blow back in CPM. I might be wondering about his BPM right now because his heart rate has got to be flying. Forces a flash out, and there's the ult from Ferret burned. I'm going to get away for now, but that is a flash for a flash between the jungler and the top lane.
Yeah, flash for a flash, and again, that was great shadowing right there from Ferret onto his mid laner. You baiting them up at ult right there. Paris is trying to bait a little bit more from the side of GTZ, but they're not gonna fall for it. 4 members mid from the side of GTZ trying to get that mid lane pressure going. The more that Dragon is coming up, the sooner it comes up, you see the more that both of these teams are gonna try to fight for these mid lane towers. This is why I was a little bit surprised to not see a Rift Herald possibly drop in the middle of the map to try and open up that mid lane. There's many mobile champions in the likes of a Syndra, in the likes of a Jace. Talking about Syndra and Jace, Kofta might have found himself heroic.
That's indeed heroic, desperately low. He's not looking very heroic anymore. He's looking a little bit like heroic tragedy. That's a second death for him, and Kofta is the one who picks that kill up gratefully against his opposite number.
You know what?
Much more to be gained from this now. What do I know?
I played ARAM Clash yesterday, and in our last
How did that
game,
go?
well, it was going well until the last game,
right,
where the enemy team had full AP Kai'Sa.
Oh no!
And then it was terror, because every time that W landed, the cooldown was shorter, so it would land again and again and again and again. Talking about again and again, time and time again. Defending his tower.
Sorry, it takes a big chunk to Ferret. Will be forced to use the ult. Just get to walk away, though. So maybe a little less action than anticipated. Either way, the turret stays alive. And you could... Do you want to finish your traumatic story about AP Kai'Sa?
Yeah, we lost. We lost. She had like... She had 61k damage.
Oh man. That's what it is. There's that meme, isn't there, about the NBA one? You know, they come into the changing room. It's like, you know, we can do is we can turn around. It's like, well, did you win? No, we lost 3-0. It's like, okay.
Hey, we fought valiantly, okay? Now, there are two teams that want to fight like this as well. In 50 seconds is going to be the third dragon spawning right now. And as you can see on your minimap, it is going to be GTZ, the first ones to walk in to take control of that bot side of the map for the dragon. Of course, Destroy is the beefier member, so he's going to be the one pushing towards the side of the map. You look at top side, Kofte, 1-3-1 going on from the side of the TCL team. Kofte does have the teleport to join the dragon fight. Destroy also has a teleport. Does a fight break up towards the top side of the map as well. So the TCL are in full force, 1-3-1 in their map, trying to bait out GTZ to make a move on them.
Just got himself the Muramana transformation, but also Kofta is very, very scary, and he's going to do an exceptional amount of work to this turret, but CPM will be here to prevent too much more. Reminder as well, as a bonus prize should the fight go well enough, Baron has just spawned as well, which could prove devastating for whichever team loses the fight, should they lose it hard enough. Poke begins to fly. Ludens, Kai'Sa, 2-item Jace, time's already left, about half HP, less than that now as another W lands from Kai'Sa. Plasma Brock doesn't quite come to fruition as time avoids it by the skin of their teeth. Now a siege in mid lane can happen as Ferret is left alone with the dragon as the poke does its work to force GTZ away.
Yeah, and that was a very clever approach from GTZ. They did manage to get the teleport out of Kofte from the top side of the map to join the mid lane fight. And GTZ started sort of disappearing towards the top side of the river, potentially threatening a Baron, knowing that Wildcats were most likely going to be going towards that dragon. It wasn't going to be the case. And again, Wildcats, very slow approach to the game. They take what they can get. The dragon ends up going down from this skirmish, from this exchange in the mid lane. They're going to take these cracks. They're going to push down the wave in the bot lane. Mid lane wave pushed as well by Bao, and they're going to take their backs. They're going to take their items, and they're going to go again. I feel like for both these teams, there's so much at stake right here, especially for the Portuguese org. There has never been a team in quarters from Portugal starting your first day 3-0 in a group where the former EMEA Masters champions are in would be huge for them.
I think eyes for me have to remain on Avra. The Zeri is 3-1. The Zeri has 2.5 items. You can see what they're saying. Look, we'll give up that next second Drake to maybe fight for something a bit more. Into the mid lane we go. Destroy, gets knocked into the wall. Maybe this is the moment. He flashes away, stays alive just about, but a flash forward means Avra gets that one. But look at the turnaround. Bao goes on a killing spree. A 3-man shattering strike. And they lose a man in return. Paris getting some more. A double to Bao, who can continue to fire off that artillery. Their ICBMs at this point hitting intercontinentally. Nightmare's down to 10% HP, if that. And then they head over towards the Baron. Head in hand for GTZ. They lose far too much in that mid lane. Maybe they can pull off something with the teleport. They're turning around. CPM going to be knocked up, trying to turn around. Time gets to the backside, tries to get a kill. Gets Bao. Time finds his moment, and it runs out for Bao. They will finally get the kill onto CPM, but that stopped the Baron. Critical save from GTZ.
Yeah, CPM TPing right there and getting all the attention on him. Absolutely saved them from Wildcats taking the Baron. Heroic is looking for Kofta. Kofta very low.
If he lands the stun, he could do something more, but doesn't have an ult, and he gets away with it. You just had to wonder, didn't you, with how these plays have been going. But finally, we'll get a replay, and we'll start with this one, because it looked pretty scary for a moment there for GTZ.
Yeah, Heroic gets caught by the shock blast and the knockup, and then Destroy gets pinned in a corner as well. Survives without HP, but then CPM uses the ult on one member only who was on 1 HP as a finisher, which means that then the carries from Wildcats can play forward once the big boss has used his ult. And of course, right there was where Bao starts shining on this Kai'Sa. Again, as an AP Kai'Sa, the W is the one spell on the champion with the most AP ratio, and the more you hit a champion, the lower the cooldown you get onto that spell. They tried to do the Baron, of course, but CPM TPs in. They tried to kill him, and then the death timers are too low to try and attempt a Baron again. So Baron attempt dissipated by CPM. Time has found Paris.
There's a knockup. Paris was the hero of that last fight. So much CC he managed to put out. 3-man Magnet Storm, 3-man Shattering Strike. You couldn't ask for more.
Time, you need time, you need time. Destroy is taking bot lane tower. Just make time for your bot lane. A tier 2 down for Destroy. Someone's gonna have to get out of that Baron pit and stop Destroy from taking the tower. It's a 50-50. There's a blast cone.
Paris was forced back to base. They know they've at least got the man advantage there. They want the turn. They want to make this happen. Maybe they just want the flip. Finally, the teleport's coming on through. They're going to try and take this. Look at the amount of damage they're coming on through. Where's the jungler? Knocked to the back of the wall. Still alive. Still not dying. Look at the bit. It's finally taken. GTZ secured the Baron, but at what cost? They've got 2 members already. But what about the fight in the back? And Destroy is waiting to fire freely. Ignite onto Abra, who's trying to find a way whether they can escape. Will finally die as Bao gets them. And time dies to CPM is the only man standing.
Oh, and Wildcats played with them. They were trying to see how patient does GTZ remain. Patience is the key when you play against Wildcats, and GTZ just lost theirs. They're starting the Baron scene, destroyed down the bot lane. They do not see that TP coming through, and they get flanked and squashed into the pit. All this AP from the Kai'Sa, all the AoE coming in from the Jace, destroy on that Aatrox. When you literally squish yourself in this small pit, there isn't much really you can do against all the CC and the AoE damage coming in from Wildcats. And honestly, again, props to Wildcats. They're using Destroy, that 1-3-1 that we talked about. They might be one of the very few teams that we have seen that can very easily use that on their map. They use Destroy as a pressure point when they see that the Baron is not being let off from GTZ. This is where they pull the trigger to get Destroy in to then stop the effort from GTZ. Again, this game is still pretty darn close. There's 2,500 gold difference between the two teams. A lot of the key items have been completed. GTZ are not yet out of it.
Not quite yet. There's an engage. They're gonna try and get some more Copter. Desperately low. The Jace is dead. Shutdown comes through. Now the Magnus on the backside. Destroy trying to get on into here. I just don't know if it's gonna be too little, if it's gonna be too late. They do get the Malphite, but I think a more critical member was, of course, that Jace. Destroy goes golden, but for how much longer? I think this statue's about to crumble, and the edifices are down. Something about Ozymandias as a reference there. Avra taken down by a third, courtesy of Bao and his artillery pieces. Heroic, the same. I don't know how much more they can get. These charges just keep hitting. Void Seeker after Void Seeker, but he goes forwards! Bao! What was that? What was that? It was absolutely foolish! A moment of madness, and the Kai'Sa is dead.
A poke composition is supposed to poke before they go in. Bao got so overeager. He lost his patience as well right here. GTZ managed to take the mid lane. Teleport is going to be coming in. It is Kofte, and it is CPM.
Good door, trying to keep alive. Avra dodged away from the crash down. Paris, though, desperately low. A flash now. Kofte dies again. Avra on a killing spree. Paris needs to run away. In fact, that might have been a rampage. I'm not sure I read the pop-up on screen quite right. Either way, Paris gets out, and I think, Georgia, we can actually breathe, because that is some nail-biting stuff in the mid lane.
I cannot believe I'm saying this, but GTZ are looking really, really good in this game. I think it all starts from CPM on this Malphite, finding the angle. Kofte overextends slightly to try and get that soft blast in, and gets blasted in the face by the Malphite. And the second one of your two poke champions is out of the game, you just do not have enough damage, enough consistent damage to turn around that fight. The second Destroy goes in. Look at all that spacing that's happening between him and the carries of GTZ. Nightmares pops one passive onto him, and then he cannot reach the champions. And like here, Bao, as you see on the main screen, he keeps putting the pain down, he keeps poking, but he gets overeager, he gets too confident, he goes too far forward, gets pinned down by time and taken out, losing the jungler as well. Right here, GTZ are playing so freaking good League of Legends.
Avra and Bao are in position to carry this game for either our teams. 4-item Zeri with a stopwatch. It's a 3.5-item Bao. A moment there that Bao went too far. Time this time was maybe the one at threat, but the Hex Flash from Paris not going to come through quite yet. Gold, it's 100 apart. It means nothing. Dragons, even. They mean nothing right now. It really is all up to these next couple fights. Either way it could go. We've seen them work out for both teams. I just don't know which way to call it, Georgia.
Minute and a half almost for Baron. And honestly, I think it has been a game of patience right here for both of them, especially when you have a lot of poke on the side of Wildcats. You need to be patient. You need to wait for the poke to land to then call in your next target. On the other hand side, GTZ have the counter to poke. They have hard engage. If CPM finds the target, everyone can pile onto that one target and take them out instantly. This is why I said it's on CPM's hands to win this particular game. Now, of course, a lot of key items have been completed right here. Destroy with a Guardian Angel as well. We have Anathema's Chains for Ferret, which I'm assuming it's gonna be going straight onto Avra's Zeri as well, as you can see. Doesn't have the stack yet. Ferret has not seen it yet.
That's for sure. Checking in as well, Syndra at 114 stacks. She's getting infinitely more scary as that having insta-stack even further. Destroy in trouble, has a GA, but I think it's about to pop. That Guardian Angel can do nothing to save you from this. Avra about to pick up a 10th kill of the game. You have to assume it's a decent gore drinker, but it's a shutdown that Avra secures.
34 seconds until Baron, 49 seconds until it destroys back up. GTZ can literally just rush that Baron. Look at the Malphite icon and look on the top right of that icon. His ultimate is almost still back up and available. GTZ need to try and find a way. They need to push in that mid lane wave and try to find a wave into Baron. Take advantage of that. Oh my god!
Oh, that's unfortunate. It was off vision, I think. Unfortunate moment from Heroic. It's not been his best game. 1-5-5. I was about to say he's 4 stacks off that 15% increase in AP where he becomes truly devastatingly dangerous. Should already have the execute threshold on the R of the 100 stacks, so that's a great moment. Completes the stopwatch, the Zhonya's at least, so will be spared his blushes, but a little bit of an ugly moment. You can see the nerves getting there to some of these players. Paris, Shattering Strike will take off the shield from the Malphite, not too much more.
And again, it becomes so dangerous when GTZ actually pile themselves up in the Baron pit with so much poke coming in from the side of Wildcats. It's so difficult to just be piled up like this when there's so much damage coming through from the other side. They need to find a way in. They're setting down vision on the other hand side. Wildcats are taking it off straight away. CPM
gets him! He's done it again! The Jace tries to stay alive, but a Thundering Blow keeps him alive. He's still got the teleport. He can go back in! What a Magnet Storm! Paris in the backside. Avra trying to take this with bow. It's in there as well. Avra goes golden! Avra, the chaotical carry, dies! Finally! They shut down Zeri! And now GTZ have to run for the hills. They've lost the critical member. Everyone else is alive, but I don't think it makes any difference. Out comes the Keeper's verdict. But can Nightmares do anything here into Paris, who is going to be knocked into a wall, but Copter is here. Goes into that invulnerability courtesy of the Dragthar. But what is these TPs? CPM is here, does not have an ultimate to work with. Time gets a knock into the wall. Paris is dead. Heroic goes golden. What is this fight? Must flash away. Must try and find something. Still has the Scout of the Week. Still has the unleashed power. They're still winning this because remember, Bao died earlier as well. Maybe it wasn't just all for you had to keep him out. Maybe the rest is going to happen. That's the ultimate down. Shut down. Ferret is dead. What about Destroy? 5 seconds. Has the world under. But so did CPM. Destroy with the Gore Drinker healing is still continuing to go. He's going to try and live to his namesake. It's Oppenheimer. He's going to try and make this one happen. Finally, he can't get any more. Surely he can't get any more. He just keeps going. Finally, it ends. I don't even know how many kills were because people respawned and teleported, and in the end, I'm not sure all that much changed.
What a chaotic fight. CPM pulls the trigger, but Heroic is top lane. Heroic, your mid laner is top lane. He's usually the one that helps you finish off that one member that CPM ult, but he's not there. Bao sees that the Syndra's not there. Again, presses the ult back, gets too far into the fight. Time takes him down again. And from there on out, clip in the carnival music because it's been a back and forth of a skirmish in the river. Time tries to fight Powers together with Nightmares. Nightmares dies, then CPM TPs back in. Remember that Malphite ultimate that he just used? Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's gonna have it back in about 10 seconds time again. Time will take another one down. Heroic TPs in from mid lane. He was literally in mid lane and he TPs in the heart of the fight. CPM plays far forward. He's trying to tank the fight, while Heroic's trying to hit his skill shots right there. And it's a back and forth where in the end, Destroy comes out on top. He literally just gets ult right there on the Malphite, finds Kofte, snipes him off, but then Destroy gets that one reset, and he's huge. So GTZ walk off.
Finally, they get to back away. But that
was the longest replay of
something
history.
ridiculous. My voice is getting a little bit fried here. We've still got a game to go after this. 19 kills for 20, 33 minutes in the Baron to spawn. And I think it's time for another round of this absolute brawl of a game. Nightmare uses the stamp time to get outside the Infernal Chest. On the other side, there's a stun for wall. Paris taken low. CPM gets to the backside. Bao taken low. Bao uses the ult to stay alive. He is alive for now. But Copter desperately on the other side has got to be careful of the concussive blows that are stacking up. And one more would do him in. Afra gets him. Sapped on down, and the electricity grounds itself in the heart of the Wildcats. The reigning champions are being felled man by Avra.
My God, Avra with a flash forward to finish off one of the carries from Wildcats.
Oh, heroic.
Still 2 remaining. Destroy's gonna TP mid. Bao, he can start sniping people off. Look at Heroic. Look where he is.
Still got ult. Tried to find it. They were spotted. The crash down is joined by the scout of the wing. Nightmare so desperately low. Bao is desperately low as well. Remember, level 16 ultimate. With all those shards, Bao will die. If Syndra can If Syndra can they'll die. Surely the Baron is secured. Needs to find a moment. Can't do it. Stays alive now. Destroy is exhausted and finally forced down from the Guardian Angel. But there is no better Angel right now. He's taken out. Now they can continue to chase down the remaining members. Paris is dead. This side, again, it's the wrong side of the Trojan War. Heroic dies. Everyone else stays alive. And GTZ are beginning to win these fights.
Oh my God, GTZ, we're playing with fire right there, but look at Nightmares. He's covering Avra with his life. Every single W bow throughout. Nightmares tanked. And having Heroic on the flank right there means that Wildcat cannot choose a direction to go. Destroy goes forward, tries to play for the Baron play, but Bao and Paris gonna move forward because Heroic is on the flank and can kill them anytime. CPM, yes, I know, he just used ult. He has it back up against like a 20-second cooldown at this point or something. But oh my God, the most important part of this game is that GTZ are doing it. 2,000 gold in the lead, 3 dragons up to 2. You've got the Baron as well, and that, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never heard of it, is an LPL gold graph.
It is apparently Namir Master's gold graph. It looks exactly like my heartbeat right now. Let me tell you, Paris doing their very best to stay out of danger this time around. And if you don't mind, production, can we just have a look at those items from the Zeri? No boots, 6 items, and a GA. Yeah, well, not when you're Zeri, not when you have that much move speed from your R and your E. You just need more damage.
Yep, you've got the item that will most likely kill the wave in one hit, which is the static shift. And then the rest is just pure good old League of Legends 80 carry goodness, 20,000.
I nearly said something very broadcast inappropriate. That is a lot of gold.
That is a lot of gold. That is a lot of gold. 20,000 gold by Destroyer on the flank right here. If he can find a good flank. He does have the World Ender available to him. Ferret looking for an angle. He's looking for a knockup, but Nightmares is covering.
Here's for the white to spy. Needs to be a little bit careful. We'll dodge out
That's
of the ultra laser. Had to be used.
He walked in too quickly. Another World Ender is gone. Bao has barely had any time to put down any hurt on the poke department. Kofta the same. GTZ are looking way too healthy right now to pick up a fight with Wildcats. And CPM is looking. He's looking for one of the two, Bao or Kofte. That's all he needs to find one of the 2 carries from Wildcats. Oh my God.
Heroic hits on the wrong end of that one. That hurt. Now they need to back away. Now they need to try and run a little bit further. They get out for now. They'll take the turret, but nothing more. Just this game on a knife's edge. It's maybe favored towards GTZ, but Bao is definitely not a weak champion at this point in the game. That Kai'Sa is hitting like a truck.
And it's so difficult, right? Because Wildcats thought that we're going to have a pretty good time. Your Kai'Sa gets ahead, your Jace gets ahead. Who's going to tank all of that poke coming through? The Brom has been a fantastic reply to that so far. Nightmares has done a great job of blocking a lot of Bao's damage coming through. And by that happening, CPM gets the chance to dash in with his ultimate, to slam himself in rather with his ultimate before Bao and Kofta can get any more of that poke through. Now, of course, it's become a really difficult time for Wildcats because we addressed this at the draft. How do you get these champions on top of GTZ's backline. It's so difficult. Parus can never find the angle to do that, and if he does, Brom is there, Poppy's there, they'll stop him dead in his tracks. And of course, Bao and Kofte cannot necessarily find the angles very easy, because the second they're in, they just die to CPM. So for Wildcats, it's been a very rocky way to figure out how they want to play their team fights. So far, the only thing that's worked for them is having Destroy on a side lane, threaten a backdoor, and then work through the poke, allow GTZ to commit themselves onto an objective, and then slam them on with a flank TP from Destroy.
I'm now looking at a Syndra that, yes, had a rough laning phase, but is nearly at 4 items, has got all the shards possible, is level 17. I'm looking, as we said, at this Zeri, who's incredible. So I'm looking at double Anathema's Chains, a Radiant Virtue, double Mountain Dragons, possibly a Mountain Soul, a Locket, a Knight's Vow, a Bloodthirster just picked up by Zeri. You're looking at this and going, how on earth do I land consistently enough poke through all of these tools to bring down particularly Avra? But you'll take Heroic. It's just so hard.
Yeah, and mind you, on the side of GTZ, you have so much consistent damage coming through, especially with the Zeri. On the side of Wildcats, none of them has consistent damage. You do have a lot of poke, but that is just burst mode, right? If you hit it, you do. A lot of it is skill shots, and a lot of it is burst. No consistent damage coming through, whilst Avra is sitting pretty comfortably, almost level 18 all across the board for both these teams, except for the supports. And they're looking towards the Baron. 45 seconds for the Baron, 45 for the Dragon as well, and Destroy has been caught yet again.
He's bit nightmares every time. He's living up to his 9 state because he is in Destroy's mind. Cannot find a flank alive for him. Scout of the Week forced the flash out of Ferret, just about alive for now. But a flash forward is flash from Kofte. That will not land this time around. But the flash is down on Kofte. Flash is down on Ferret. Remember that cooldown on CPM is next to nothing at this point in the game. W's begins to fly from Baron, but they're not hitting anyone important right now.
Almost a quarter of it gone. By the time a Baron or a Dragon will be up, will most likely be a couple of seconds from spawning. Again, Destroy is looking for the flank again. He does have that Guardian Angel, but he cannot afford to just lose his Guardian Angel before the fight starts yet again. Destroy, he knows that the only way they can win a fight, the only way he can approach the backline is by flanking. But look at CPM, the Guardian Angel literally of Afra. They're going to let Wildcats get that Dragon and head themselves towards the Baron again. Look at top right corner of CPM's Porter. That Malphite ultimate is almost back up and available. He's going to be looking. Kofte, no flash.
Bao in the backside, has flash, has ghost, has everything on his shoulders. Kofte has to be so desperate. Be careful, the ult's available. The ult comes out from Poppy to not destroy away, but the Baron is dead already. No way in. Ferret just could not find their way back into this one. Now do GTZ want to fight, or do they want to retreat? Look at Heroic, he wants to back out. He's probably got a teleport and item to buy. Where's the teleport? Back down towards that top lane, going in on to destroy. But it's still currently a 4v5, but Ferret was looking for a flank and is not there right now. Now Destroy's in danger. Needs to get over the wall, but does have that charge available. Does get out there with the Umbral dash. Now Ferret needs to be a little bit afraid. Ferret, where are you going? He wants to get to the wave, but he's pretty damn fast on that terrain. Not going to happen right now. The frozen domain might be thawing out on the wrong end of Heroic, who could just press R and get the Guardian Angel out. Now they can look to put him in the dirt permanently. They're looking for a bit more. He's just running away super fast, but he's finally knocked into a wall. Finally knocked down, can do nothing more. Ferret dies there without a jungler for 55 seconds, while the rest of GTZ cake their minions and run them down mid lanes. 42 minutes into the game. They want this over now.
And usually you'd say that he had wasted a lot of time, but he didn't, because the wave had already traveled through. GTZ took the wave, the Baron up wave with them. They have a wave to end the game. It's a 4 versus 5. CPM is looking for Kofte. Kofte still no flash available to him. You take down the Jace, you can brute force your way in. Wildcats, what have you got in the tank? You need to defend right here, right now. 20 more seconds until your Trundle is back up and available.
They need to make it happen. The Nexus Tides remaining. They get a stun onto 2. There's no one important. Poppy taken down low. The poke is still damaging. The Keeper's Verdict knocks a couple back towards the fountain. One Nexus turret remaining. The turrets, those cannons rather, doing so much damage to the turrets. I finally get the phrasing right. Bao goes in! CPM manages to ult away. They're trying to run back. They're trying to make this one happen. Kofte does not land anything more. They're retreating. They cannot end the game.
I don't know who was more scared right there. Bao ulting in and then instantly flashing out, or CPM ulting
How far do they
out.
wanna go?
Nightmares running for his life. He has no
Avra.
mana to defend anything.
Avra.
Destroy.
He's on the flank again from the backside. He needs to find an angle. Heroic's gone golden. They've maybe found the angle. Wildcats gonna try and do something. Avra gets a flash out, but cannot do anything more. They will look for the flank and it just doesn't work. They lose two, and now Avra on the wrong end of the rift. Hits by a Void Seeker. Must maybe trade out with Destroy, but remember, he doesn't have an ultimate. But there's no mana on Avra, and all the while there's a shot coming onto mid lane. That's going to happen. Surely not like this. GTZ, you had the game in your hands, and a poor retreat leaves him in danger. Avra trying to trade out with Destroy, but he's still going to GA.
Like
Look at this one, 35 seconds on Heroic. Not like this, a shutdown onto Avra. He had no boots, no way, no eye out. And Wildcats remain undefeated, and they break Portuguese hearts. There's just no way, not like this. A moment, and they pounce like the cats they are, and they tear out the throats and the hearts of GTZ.
Oh my god. GTZ lost the game while being 1,000 gold in the lead. 1 overextension is all it took for Wildcats to run them down, and honestly, a huge applause to both of these teams. That was a banger of a back and forth. It was so difficult to play the game from both sides, but ultimately it was in GTZ's hands to lose it. They had the requirements to win this game. They had the hard engage. Kofta didn't have the flash. They overextended. They overstayed their welcome, if you will. And then Wildcats just run them down and ended the game. Huge heartbreak for the Portuguese scene that right now could have been sitting 3-0 in a group where the former EMEA Masters champions are also in. But again, I guess Wildcats are inevitable when it comes to team fighting.
I mean, I'm not even sure that was straight team fighting. That was Avra looking for a flank angle, and he wasn't there. He wasn't in that fight until right at the end, and Destroy just gets him away from the base, and he can't do anything anymore. No mana, no way to play that one out, and Wildcats find their moment. They find that angle just at the end because they were struggling in those fights. They were struggling at those objectives, and we finally got some highlights because it was an absolute bloodbath.
Our producer says, hey, highlights are coming through. And I'm like, which ones? You can literally just take the entire game, and it's an absolute highlight. But honestly, GTZ, the team play was impeccable, especially when it comes from a region like Portugal, where no one expects them, where they're always the dark horse, where they never make it into groups, to come into this EMEA Masters and take Wildcats into an almost 40-minute back and forth banger where they literally lose the game on the Nexus Towers has been incredible. So many Barons went through, so many teleports. I can't even count. I don't even know which number teleport that is, because every time there was a teleport available, both teams would just pull it for a fight. The name of the game was Patience. GTZ lost on the Patience game, and Wildcats pulled this one through. But honestly, guys, enjoy the highlights because it was constant brawling and back and forth.
I mean, time waits for no man, not even someone who's named themselves that. And Destroy here in a 1v3. He had a tough game, actually, in a lot of ways, was finding it very difficult to find the flanks, but you could see when the Aatrox did finally get a little bit of space to have a 1v1 with the Zeri, did come up and honestly helped them win the game. But this was the moment where I thought, it's doomed. Wildcats can't win the 5v5s anymore. And with this, they should be able to surely push and end it, but they just couldn't quite get that last Nexus turret, couldn't get over that final hurdle. And this was this final moment where Avra looks for the flank, and the rest of his team is left out to dry. Heroic down to 20% HP, and it's kind of over at this point.
Yeah, and honestly, I'll take it back. I said that Ferret, after the Baron, didn't waste enough time. He did. Had his members not been chasing Ferret around, the game would have most likely been over for GTZ, because there was a wave together with GTZ. You do not have to chase the Trundle right there, but that was it. Ferret did it again by even dying, because he wasted even more time. He had the GA. They had to wait for the GA to come through as well to kill him for a second time. So, my God, this game was like a highlight on its own.
It really was. And, you know, Kofta's Jace remains undefeated at EMEA Masters currently over the year. I mean, it got bloody close. You know, and Bao had some great moments on the Kai'Sa, but there was that overstep in mid lane where I went, oh no. We saw Avra try and find the flank at the end there, but they were just out of mana.
Another oh no.
Make it happen. And, you know, I mean, even when you're talking about like the chasing the Trundle, it's like, what happens if the Trundle potentially clears out the next wave that's coming in? Is that going to be enough to end the game? I mean, like, you have all these questions and you just don't know what ends up being the right choice. It took them too long to kill the Trundle at the end, and you're right, and that's kind of it. But for now, it is Wildcats who somehow, some way, remain undefeated in this group. But we've still got one more game to go, because we've got the two teams that have yet to pick up a win, and one of them will be going 0-3. One of them will be finally getting that much needed win. But to see who it is, you're going to have to stick after the break, when we get Bisons versus Anonymous. We'll see you there.